Hello everyone and welcome. Today we'll be taking a look at a best of 3 series of StarCraft 2. But not your normal, not your typical best of 3 series, no. Starting things off on the map Golden Aura, here in the upper left corner, the teal Kiron player. It is the Reaper. And their opponent, the red Genetron player, here in the bottom right corner, it is Cognite. I'm guessing. Cognite. Could be Conite, but going with Cognite. And likewise, Genetron? Genetron? Still don't know. Maybe someone will correct me. I like Genetron, personally. That's right, ladies and gents. Kiron versus Genetron. It is a Scion Custom Races match from the Scion Cup tournament earlier this year, which, if you are not familiar, if you have not heard of the glorious thing which is that, I will of course include a link to the Scion Discord community in the description below. Be sure to check them out, give them some love. Some great content they've made. Custom races, additional factions abound, and some solid creativity to boot, if I might add. All of that out of the way, the introductions have been said. What are we looking at here? Now, Kirons, I'll try and tailor it, of course, for those that are somewhat unfamiliar, or at least less familiar than I am, which I'll admit is not all that familiar. Starting off the early expansion, getting that citadel on the low ground. I like to call the Kirons Protoss probably. They work a little bit like a hybrid of kind of Terran and Protoss. The ability to warp in the Kiron units, but only around their main base, only around their main building. So the rest of the buildings, you might ask, what are they for? What are the other buildings for? Well, you'll notice these bars that are slowly increasing. These are charges of the units those buildings are allowed to make. See, there's been no actual army units made yet. We're still getting those initial charges. Now the Genetrons over here, Terran sorta, I call them, robotic fiends, out to probably plunge the entire world into an AI supremacy. The first of the combat units makes its way out here, a Spitfire. Low-cost, basic unit. It's got a gun, it's got wheels, it's going places. Same with this processor, which I'm sure will come back to me at some point. A Scout, I want to say. It looks like both of them, both the Reaper and Cognite here, both players opting for a rather quick expansion and some scouting. We've got the Echo coming out for the Kiron as well, which you'll notice, beautifully constructed model, is a carrier flying in reverse with a beating heart, it looks like. That's what I think, at least. And it amuses me. Cognite's Echo making its way to the main base here, spotting that foundry being constructed, additional tech here. The Echo deploying what looks like some fantastical shield here. It's not quite a shield though, I would wager. Cognite's going to need some anti-air to help clear this foul beast of an Echo, the scouting. It's slowing, I'll have you know, slowing some of these units, denying a bit of mining time. Does it slow the production? Who are we to know? Who are we to say? I'm waiting for an anti-air unit to come out here, though. Might also need a detector. Thing looks like it's cloaked. Yeah, Echo. Definitely. Cognite knows where it is. Can clearly see it. Quite there. Can't deal with it just yet, though. Repairing that up, and the Echo has to fly away. Will be denied, but not quite killed. I'll be honest here. I chose this match not because I knew the players, not because I heard it was a great match like I do with some of the games. Some will be recommended to me. I chose this for a very personal, specific reason. And that is because I've been watching the Chirons play since I first learned about the Scion races. I've always been, I think, intrigued in the Chirons, personally speaking. And I've seen them play against Terran, Zerg, Protoss, Zayd, other Chirons. But I honestly don't believe I have had the pleasure of witnessing a Chiron versus Genetron match. And I got wind of this best of 3 and I said, don't mind if I do, thank you very much. Speaking of the Chirons, moving out onto the map here, the Umbra leading the charge, that stealth, anti-armor surprise. The Pulsars adding in their can fire while moving laser beams. How will they handle, though, the Fixers, the Blitzers from the Genetron force? It looks like Genetron's actually a little bit on the back foot here. The Volts in the back supplying quite a bit of support for the Chirons. The boys have to be pulled, which is going to be quite successful. Genetron's going to hold for now. The Umbra looks to be the only unit that's actually going to get out of there. And it has a cloak, so, of course it's going to get out of there, just leaving its friends to die, more like. The Mass Fixer quickly repairing all of his units. Look at the graphics. I love it. I love the lasers. Both Chiron and Genetron have some lasers. It sounds like, of course, so far I've been kind of pinning all of my hopes on the Chiron player, like I'm rooting for the Chiron. I don't have any bias, it's more just a personal interest. It's like, hey, I have always kind of liked how the Chirons look. I want to see how they perform against the Genetrons. But I'm really secretly hoping we get to see a certain special unit for the Genetrons. Let you know in a moment once these two are done with their skirmish. The Umbra's rolling around, continuing to cloak. Might be able to deny this base. Fast damage coming out. They have quite a bit of burst once they unleash their arsenal. The first attack from Cloak, of course, dealing additional damage, gives them that surprise attack advantage. Can deal quite a bit very quickly. Genetron learning their lesson. Restarts the base and a repulsor turret just nearby. The static defense, the anti-ground defense for the Genetrons. I think we have a quiet moment here. I'll be able to talk about the Genetron unit of choice I'm hoping we see. I don't believe I've seen any yet. No, it's the Mole. And those of you familiar with the Scion races will go, oh, he likes the Mole? Yes, I do. It looks like a Widow Mine with an ion cannon strapped to its head. How can you not like that? The Mole, it burrows into the ground for the Genetrons. It's got the large cannon overhead. It's like a siege tank Widow Mine combo. It's glorious. How can I not like it? Umbra's out on the map. The rest of the Chiron forces looks like a group of pariah here, which for those unfamiliar, a basic melee unit with a dash ability, able to try and close the distance or quickly retreat from a bad engagement. Commonly seen as frontline fodder or harassment opportunities. Subjector, kind of the Chiron stalker, just a generic basic, it shoots up, it shoots down, what's not to love kind of unit. The Genetron, actually, the next to move out on the map here, plenty of fixers to try and repair the army and deal a little bit of damage. They can hold their own in a fight as well, but their main purpose is helping out everything else. Missiles abound, Umbras, lasers, things jumping around the air units, the first to fall here. Umbra's trying to close the distance, might be able. The pariahs dash into the midst of the army here, trying to surround, trying to prevent any retreat, but it turns out to be a very poor decision on the Chiron's part here. The Genetron army just looking to be far too superior. They both rocking, looks like 1-0 attack upgrade for the Genetrons here. They are, is Cognite stepping a little too far though, overextending a bit it seems. Some reinforcements gonna show up, but the Umbra's just, the amount of damage every volley the Umbra's put out seems to be taking off at least one of the Genetron units. Some reinforcements gonna show up here, an Inciter shows itself. with its wonderful missiles to help support. I like the look too, the flames. Why is it a different color of flame though than these guys? Hey, oh my, did you all see that? Hold up. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna break the game for a second here just to show that again. Okay, where'd that insider go? There it is. Look at this. Look at what this thing can do. Jump jet tanks. If you've been wishing for that, if you've been hoping for that to join the field, there you go. Try out Genetrons today. What's not to love? Jump jet missile tank. Good lord. No wonder we couldn't have this in an official setting. The game's completely broken now. We've got anti-armor cloaked baneling rollies here. Jump jet missile tanks on the other side. For shame. Most of the Genetron base here still under construction, going to be quickly cancelled, which I'm not sure was entirely necessary. Cognite's army was already en route. Perhaps it was just the fear. Those Umbras can deal quite a bit of damage very quickly. Not sure. And you know, maybe Cognite wasn't sure the army could actually contest. This is a lot of Umbras. 16 Umbra, which I'm not sure is the best of choices. They're a little bit of a glass cannon style unit here. Air unit's gonna help support, restore, it looks like restoring the energy of the units down below here. Plenty of equalizers, the Fixers holding their own on the front line, and it looks like the Umbras will eventually fall, and there is just nothing else here. The Reaper going up to 88 workers on only 4 bases. The income seems to be fine. It's all coming down to the production. It's not going to be enough. The Umbras are falling. The Genetron forces still standing. An accidental attack command goes out to destroy them. Huron forces trying to warp in on the high ground. Here's some Volts, some Pulsars. One Umbra stuck behind the rest, and it is not going to be enough. Cognite, the Genetron player, taking map number 1 strongly and swiftly, might I say. Impressive display. Onwards now to map number 2. For map number 2, we find ourselves on Hecate. As I said before, the Huron player, the Reaper here in the upper right corner, he needs some love, needs some energy in map number 2. Give it up. Come on. Clap, applause. And the Genetron player here in the bottom left, showing some strength, showing some tenacity. Can they keep it together? It is Cognite. Hecate. Quick, low ground wall, it's looking like. Intriguing choice. I'm not sure I would have pegged Genetrons to be something you need to quickly wall off against. This whole time I've been calling them Terran, sort of. Terran, maybe. Although their workers are essentially probes, able to start the building and move on with its day. Very quick expansion here before the first barracks, whatever it's called. We've got a CC first. Genetron first here. Not sure what that is. We'll look at that in a moment though. As the workers cross each other in the middle of the map here, the first building where the Huron is the edifice. Start building up those charges. Get those pariahs, get those Volts out on the map. Some early map presence, potentially aggression here. We've got the Sanctum on the way. Again, for those additional units. I believe the Pulsars coming out from there. Huron worker, happily allowed to stay within the Genetron mineral line. Cognite, a man of honor, it seems. True to their word. No, just one little poke. Looking around, doing some scouting, checking out all of the buildings coming up here. Manufacturer, the barracks aforementioned here. filtering plant, the Vespine extractor, of course. What is this? What is this? Zelnaga Healing Shrine? I have no idea what this is. What is this? That's a Baneling. You got me. Something about the map. I know it's some special kind of Hecate StarCon something edition. Above my pay grade, apparently. The Genetrons holding complete control of the production tab. Wake up, Huron player. Ooh, I didn't even check that in game 1. Yikes. Spitfire shows itself once again. The Genetron unit, the basic unit of choice. We didn't get to see any moles the last match. Don't disappoint me now. I demand moles versus, I want to say it's inducers. The Chiron's version of the siege tank shoots out an orb. The orb returns back before it can shoot again. Wonderful graphics, great to watch. They're both opting for essentially the same, similar kind of opener as the last game, it seems. Quick expansion, early scouting. We've got that processor coming out. Haven't seen, there's no echo this time though. So no initial echo here. We've got the outlet coming up. Your guess is as good as mine so far. The processor on a patrol command, just doing a bit of scouting, information, intel gathering, seeing what units might be coming out for the Reaper here. The Volts. Oh, where'd he go? The Volts could be trying to deter it. Both of them just taking macro turns. They're opening with macro turns, it seems. Have to be entertaining then. I'll say, how is your day going? Hope you're having a good day. Hope it's fine. No catastrophes, no disasters, right? The best we can hope for. That outlet finishes up. Building those charges for those air units again. Might see an echo come out. Meanwhile, just additional forces. Subjector, as I said, that Stalker coming out. A quick third processing core for the Genetrons here. And the Fixers out once again. The Dream Team here. One Blitzer, which is kind of like a slower Marine, if you're not familiar. Yes, it looks like a tank. Yes, it looks like it's got a Gatling gun on top. It kind of behaves like a Marine, just with a slower attack speed. Umbra, the first to find the Genetron forces, starts to take out the Fixer, will be destroyed. The Genetron forces vastly outnumbered, outclassed, outgunned in this engagement. I'm not quite sure what Cognite was trying to get there. Was it just information? The Emanator. Scouting. The Aurora. A little bit of a harassment, like a Chiron Muta almost. The Reaper feeling a little confident, I think, after that initial engagement. Gonna lose the Aurora. The Pulsars able to hold their own against the ground forces, though. Will the air units reign supreme, though? And now it is the Chiron who has overextended, losing everything. You both just throwing everything away here. The Emanator providing a little bit of vision, able to keep an eye on potentially how many workers operating over here. Yes, perfect. Very nice. Severe lack of army units abound, though. Where'd those air units go? They're just chilling. The Genetron Avengers just waiting, biding their time. Their moment will come. Stare at these Fixers again. Repair more. It's so nice. Beautiful graphic. Cognite taking a very fast 4th expansion as well here. Potentially going for a bit of eco cheese. A little bit of economic greed will follow the army. The Reaper still only favoring the Umbras, it seems. The production just lacking a bit behind. The money just, it can't be spent quick enough. The Genetron army, it's here. It's a knock-in. Is it the Hornet? Great missile attack. actually going to be able to take out that building. The Umbras on the other side, the air units seem to be a fantastic choice from the Genetron player. You're able to reign supreme over the Umbras. Stealth attack, though, the Aurora in the main base with 5 kills. Umbra over at the far side will eventually be dealt with. Fixers, there you go. Fixers eventually do destroy that. A little bit of a shot at the own base there. The Avengers. Looks like they dealt with the Aurora well enough. Cognite having to take a step back, defend their bases. Oh, just more units. Equalizers coming out, hoping to equalize the amount of losses in here. Oh, got him. Kieran, what's the plan here? What are we doing? We're getting a lot more edifices. Really? Okay. So, you know, could be pariahs, could be volts, could be something else. I see this one that got so brutally injured last time. Not going to be fully destroyed. The Stratus anti-air turret here set up over top. Have you ever wished your missile turret was actually an air building? How fun would that be? Like how the Baneling nest is kind of floating for Zerg. You could actually have buildings up in the air. The missile turret. I would like that. I think that'd be a great addition. They're both quickly closing in on the 80 worker mark, which means we should start to see some more army choices into the mix here. We've got some more blitzers on the way. Kind of the basic, just bread and butter attack unit, as I said, shoots up, shoots down. What's not to love here? Kieran, the first to move out onto the map, though. Army supply is in favor of the Genetrons. But is the army quality going to be the same? It actually hurt. The neutral Baneling out on the map, what is that for? What is it? The processor? Yeah, the processor scouting out that 4th base will be eliminated, though. Kieran's not going to allow that scouting to go for free, it seems. How will Cocknight respond? The Genetrons angered, furious at the loss of this scout, I'm sure. Sending some of these equalizers out onto the map. Checking for a 5th base. Little ambitious. I would say that'd be a little ambitious, but maybe not as surprising as one might expect. Umbra's gonna quickly destroy that outer depot, the power generator for the Genetrons. The equalizers show themselves, quickly removing the shields off of that building. Some heavy damage. Forces from the Kieran player are going to split up the Genetron army. Should be able to clean this initial group up with relative ease. The rest of the army, already heading back though, is going to save the base for now, but losing more of the army at the cost. Is the cost too great? Neither one of you are building the units I was hoping to see. Pariahs, again dealing with that early depot, that warning depot. Chew Toy Depot, as a Terran versus Zerg might call it. Umbra's having to retreat. Pariahs, the Reaper suffering here. The army's just too split. Upgrades? Upgrades doing okay. The problem is the army split up here. Cognite just at a 3-to-1 army supply advantage, trying to get some damage done here. Is killing some workers, but losing most of the army at the cost. Killing 13 workers. The Genetron army, supreme out on the map so far. Kieran not without hope, though. There's plenty of turrets up here, and look at their beautiful laser attack. Dealing with some of these ground forces, the initial wave of fixers is going to be quickly dealt with, but unfortunately, there's multiple groups. The air army, the equalizers, and whatever this is, the Aquila out here. And it's over. The multiple army groups going to prove too successful. Cognite going to take the series 2-0. Marvelously played, very well done, entertaining to see. Kieran's versus Genetrons. I will say Kieran seeming to be struggling a little bit. Perhaps some of those higher tech choices needed some inducers, some titans. I'll have to look further, do my own research. If you enjoyed, be sure to let me know in the comments below, guys. Thank you so much for watching, as always. I hope you have a great day.